So, get the camera adjusted. So there was at the Queen Mary and didn't get a chance to go on board. Well, I had a chance, I just didn't take it. But I also heard that there was going to be a concert there. It was like coming up on the 4th of July weekend. And I think the next day may have been the day of the concert, Saturday, I believe. Not sure if it was actually on 4th of July or whether it was just celebrating 4th of July that weekend. But they were going to have the Beach Boys and Three Dog Night and small band. Pure Prairie Leage, I believe, was the other band. And so I decided to hang out overnight. I ran into this young guy, and I can't quite get it straight in my head whether I ran into him or I ran into his mom first. But I believe maybe I ran into him first. And he's kind of a California beach bum kind of kid. Well, not beach bum, but surfer dude. And I think we hung out for a little while and maybe smoked a little something. And he introduced me to his mom, and I think they were staying in a trailer. I don't know if they were traveling or maybe with the band or something, but they were there at the Queen Mary, the trailer. And she was a real pretty, nice lady. A little bit older than me, I don't know, 10 years older maybe. Because I was 25 or something, and her son was probably 15, 18. One way or another, I ended up hanging out with the son, and I think he turned me on to some friends that were drinking beer out in the parking lot, so we hung out there for a good part of the night, just partying. And then toward the early hours of the morning or so, they started running out of beer. I told the kid, the first guy that I started to hang out with, that he needed to go because we were running out of beer and they weren't going to have enough beer. What an ass. I was half drunk, but I don't know, that's no excuse. I was being an ass. And so one way or another, I think he did take off. I wouldn't have blamed him if it was just because he was mad at me. But a little while later, I met one of the porta johns and porta potties, and I hear somebody knock on the door, and I say, "Who is it?" And they say, "It's you." No, they say, well, it's the joke that was from Porky's, where they push the john over. It's you. That's it. Anyway, they pushed the john over. I'm sure, I guess they expected me to get all sloshed with mess, but one way or another, the john was probably built that way. Didn't splash. I didn't get anything on me. And the way I was standing, as it fell over, the door came open, and I actually just had my feet there out on the ground, so the john was turned from being vertical over, but as it was turning over, I kind of stepped out the door, so that really I was still standing up, but the john didn't hit me and nothing sloshed out on me. That was okay. It must have been most of the guys that I was partying with that had pushed it over. It took them probably that man to push it over. So I started saying, "Okay, funny, and then let me out of here." And they all group up and pushed it back up where I could get out. Everything was cool. Nobody heard I didn't get sloshed on. But I think part of it was they were trying to get me sloshed on to teach me a lesson. I feel certain now in hindsight that they were upset at me for running the kid off, which rightly so, I suppose. right after that happens, where they push the John over and then they lift it back up off of me, one of the main guys takes a beer bottle and breaks it open and is holding the jagged edges, holding it by the neck and holding the jagged edges toward me, saying he's going to cut me because he heard what I said about his girlfriend. And I said, I didn't say anything about your girlfriend. See, none of it was where they had come out and said why they did the Porter John thing or why the main guy was holding a bottle, broken, jagged edge bottle at me. Nobody said why any of that was happening, except for he was saying I'd said something bad about his girlfriend. And so I was pretty sure I hadn't said anything bad about anybody's girlfriend. Least of all his. I wasn't even sure really which one she was. It was mostly guys, but there were a few girls who were kind of hanging around too. And I don't know, I hadn't really paid a lot of attention to him or, made any comments about him. So I don't know what he was getting on about, which is why I feel like it must have been about the boy. Now, thinking about it after the fact. So one way or another, he's like kind of leading me around over to where his girlfriend is with this bottle threatening me. And I said, okay, look, I apologize, man. I don't remember what I said. I didn't mean to say anything. If I said it, I don't even remember what I said. And so I went over to where she was and said, I'm sorry. I don't know what I said. If I said something bad, I didn't mean to. I apologized. And then shortly after, I don't remember anything. I just either blacked out or they hit me on the head and I knocked out or whatever. Next thing I know, I'm waking up some people around me. And it's a big crowd. And they're all there at the concert getting ready for the concert to start. And so I'm getting up off the ground in the parking lot, I guess probably pretty much near where I had laid down, fallen down. I didn't feel a bump on my head, so I don't remember that anybody really knocked me out, but I feel like shortly after apologizing to that guy's girlfriend, somewhere in there lost consciousness and didn't wake up until just before the concert started. And as I'm getting up, I'm far enough back from the stage that most of the crowd is ahead of me to the stage. And there's a big mob of people. It was probably, I don't know, 3,000 or 4,000, maybe more. I don't know. It was a big bunch of people. I'd say it was at least several hundreds, if not a couple of thousand or more. Whatever crowd they had there at the Queen Mary for the 4th of July weekend celebration, whatever, of 1981. Whatever crowd was at that Beach Boy throughout night concert. And it was a real good concert. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I remember at one point looking up on one of the, I guess it was a sound tower or maybe have been a lighting tower, had these little girders going up and down different places, towers with, I think some had speakers and some had lights on them. And there's these two blonde girls and they took off their tops and they're swinging their tops around and it was crazy. It was fun. Kind of like a spring break almost, miniature version. So, I mean, nothing, no harm done. I didn't have any injury from the night before. I feel bad about what I did to the boy, to the surfer dude, and my attempt to run him off so I could get more beer for myself, which none of it was my beer to begin with. They were giving it to me to begin with. So, I don't know, just the way you can be selfish sometime and not even realize it. Or you realize it and you're still selfish. I don't know. I don't have an excuse for it. But the concert was real good. And it was good.